The galaxy changed in those 6 months. Changed in ways nobody expected. Tae-sung recovered from his injuries. The burns on his back healed, leaving scars that he wore proudly. He couldn't return to active duty, but he didn't need to. Earth gave him a different job, training new security officers, teaching them what it meant to protect people. On his first day at the academy, a young recruit asked him about Station Meridian. "Were you scared?" The recruit asked. Tae-sung thought about it. "Terrified," he admitted. "But being scared doesn't matter. What matters is what you do when you're scared. Do you run, or do you stand?" He showed the class his scars. "I stood, and I do it again." Yujin recovered too. The plasma blast that hit her shoulder required months of surgery and therapy. But she was young and strong. She healed. Earth promoted her to lieutenant and gave her a medal. She became famous across human space. She didn't like the fame much. "I just did my job," she told reporters. Any of us would have done the same. But the galaxy was learning that this was exactly the point. Any human would have done the same. That's what made humanity different. The Coalition Council passed new laws. The Sentient Youth Protection Act made it illegal to punish children of any species using methods harmful to their development. Species could have their own laws, but those laws couldn't hurt children anymore. Humans started calling it Day One's Law. The name spread. On stations and planets across the galaxy, species that had been enemies for generations started talking. They had a common concern now, protecting their young. Humanity had shown them it was possible. Now they wanted to learn how. The Quilvan Empire paid reparations to Earth. They apologized publicly to Hyunmi and Daewon. Elder Velquan himself delivered the apology. "It was brief but sincere. We were wrong," he said. "We allowed pride to blind us to justice. We forgot that power without mercy is just cruelty. Humanity reminded us of this truth. We are grateful for the lesson, though we regret the cost." Something unexpected happened after that. The Quilvan Empire asked for human military advisors. They wanted to learn human tactics. They wanted to understand how 400 ships had fought 800 to a standstill. Admiral Sung Ho agreed to send teachers. "Not to make you better at conquest," he told Velquan, "but to help you defend what matters. Your worlds, your people, your children." Trade resumed between humans and Quilvans, but the relationship was different now. It was built on respect, not just profit. Ambassador Na Young took over as Earth's representative to the Coalition. She was younger than Insu, more energetic, and she had new ideas. Her first proposal shocked the Council. "Earth will extend protection to the children of any species," she announced. "Not just humans. Any child anywhere who faces unjust punishment or harm can request Earth's help. We won't stand by while children suffer." "Why?" Council Prime Texelin asked. "What does Earth gain from this?" Na Young smiled. "A better galaxy. Isn't that worth something?" Many species accepted the offer. Earth began sending peacekeepers to troubled regions. Human security officers trained by Tae-sung protected children on dozens of worlds. The Human Protection Decree remained in effect. Every human everywhere was under Earth's protection, but now it extended to others too. Earth became known as the Guardian species. On Station Meridian, now renamed Station Unity, a ceremony took place. Daewon, now 7 years old, placed a memorial plaque. It listed the names of everyone injured protecting him. Tae-sung, Yujin, and 12 others. "I don't remember everything that happened," Daewon said to the crowd. He was nervous speaking in public, but his mother encouraged him. "I was scared, but I remember feeling safe because all these people stood around me. They didn't know me. Most of them weren't even my friends, but they protected me anyway." He looked at the plaque. "My mom says that's what makes us human. We protect each other, even strangers, especially children." Hyunmi stood beside him, crying quietly. President Jae-hwan was there too, along with representatives from 40 species. They all came to honor the moment that changed the galaxy. Tae-sung was there, of course. He stood with Ji-woo and Yujin and the rest of the team that had rescued Daewon. When Daewon finished speaking, the boy ran to Tae-sung and hugged him. "Thank you for saving me," Daewon whispered. Tae-sung hugged him back. "Thank you for being worth saving, kid." In the station's garden, something beautiful was happening. Children from a dozen different species played together. Human children, Quilvan children, Ventari children, and others. Their parents watched, relaxed and happy. A Quilvan parent approached Hyunmi. "I want to thank your species," she said. "Before this, I would never have let my child play near others. Too dangerous, too many old hatreds. But now, humans have shown us a different way." Hyunmi smiled. "Children shouldn't have to carry our old hatreds. They deserve better." "Yes," the Quilvan agreed. "They do." On Earth, President Jae-hwan signed another document, the Galactic Child Protection Initiative. Earth was dedicating resources to protecting children across space. Building schools, training teachers, sending doctors, creating safe places. "Some people asked me why we're doing this," Jae-hwan said during the signing ceremony. "Why spend our resources on alien children? Why protect species that aren't human?" He looked directly at the camera. "Because it's the right thing to do. Because children are precious regardless of species. Because the galaxy we want to live in is one where all children are safe." Young Soo, the representative who had given the passionate speech in Parliament, was there. He brought his daughter, Ha-eun. She was 6 now, the same age Daewon had been during the incident. "Daddy," Ha-eun asked, "why do we protect other species' children?" Young Soo knelt down to her level. "Because someday you might need help. And when that day comes, I want to live in a galaxy where others will help you. So we start by helping them." She thought about that. "That's nice, Daddy." "Yes, it is." Across human space, a new ship launched. It was a medical vessel designed for rescue and protection. Its mission was to travel to dangerous areas and protect those who couldn't protect themselves. The ship's name was painted on its hull in large letters. Daewon's Promise. Admiral Sung-ho watched it launch from Earth. A young officer stood beside him. "Sir, do you think we'll ever have to do something like that again? Fight for one child?" Sung-ho thought about the question. "I hope not," he said. "But if we do, we will. That's who we are. That's what makes us human. The whole galaxy knows it now, sir." "Good," Sung-ho said. "Let them know. Let them remember. Humanity protects its children, all children, and will never stop." 10 years later, Daewon turned 16. He applied to the Coalition Youth Ambassador Program. In his application essay, he wrote about that day on Station Meridian. He wrote about the humans who had stood guard. He wrote about the species who had come together afterward. "I want to help build a galaxy where no child ever has to be as scared as I was," he wrote. "Where every child knows they're protected. Where every species cares for each other's young. That's the galaxy humanity showed us we could have. That's the galaxy I want to help create." Tae-sung read the essay. He was older now, his hair gray, his face more lined. But he smiled as he read. He pinned the essay to his wall at the academy. Next to it was his medal from that day. Next to that was a drawing Daewon had made for him years ago. A child's drawing of a man with a weapon standing tall, protecting others. Below the drawing, Daewon had written in careful letters, "My hero." Tae-sung looked at the wall and felt satisfied. They had done it. They had shown the galaxy what humanity truly was. Not conquerors. Not warriors. Not traders or explorers or scientists. Protectors. Guardians of the innocent. Defenders of those who couldn't defend themselves. And the galaxy was better for it. Outside, the stars shined bright. Human ships traveled among them, carrying the message to every world. Earth protects its own. Earth protects all children. Earth will never stop caring. It was a promise written in the stars. A promise humanity would keep forever, for all the day ones of the galaxy, for every child who needed protection, for every parent who feared for their young. Earth was watching. Earth was ready. Earth would always come when called. That was humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not weapons or wealth or technology, but the simple promise you are not alone. We will protect you always. 3 days of the two fleets facing each other. 3 days of Tae-sung and other humans guarding Daewon. 3 days of the galaxy holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen. On Earth, people barely slept. They watched their screens constantly. They saw their fleet surrounding the station. They saw their people standing guard. They prayed for peace but prepared for war. Admiral Sung-ho used those 3 days well. He didn't waste time. His ships moved in patterns that seemed random but weren't. They tested the Quilvan formations. They studied their responses. They learned. The Quilvans had telepathic coordination. Every ship commander was linked mentally. They could respond instantly to threats. They could move as one mind controlling 800 bodies. It should have been an unbeatable advantage. But Sung Ho had fought telepathic species before. He knew their weakness. They thought alike. They moved in predictable patterns. They couldn't imagine doing something unexpected because they all shared the same thoughts. Humans were different. Every human captain thought differently. Every crew had its own style. Humans argued, disagreed, improvised. It looked like chaos from outside, but it was organized chaos, and chaos was something telepaths couldn't handle. On the morning of the fourth day, Sung Ho made his move. Not with the fleet. With something smaller. Commander Hai Wan led a special operations team. 12 humans, all veterans, all trained for impossible missions. They had been studying the station's layout for 3 days. They knew every corridor, every vent, every access point. Humans had helped build Station Meridian 30 years ago. Humans maintained it. Humans knew its secrets. Remember, Haywan told her team, we get in, we get the boy, we get out. No unnecessary casualties. But if they try to stop us, she didn't finish. She didn't need to. They approached the station in a small, unmarked shuttle. It looked like a maintenance vessel. Station sensors barely noticed it. By the time security realized what was happening, the team was already inside. Taesung got a message on his device. His eyes widened. He showed it to Jiwoo. Help was coming. Real help. He needed to create a distraction. Jiwoo, he said quietly. Remember that trick we pulled in training? The fire alarm? She smiled. That got us in so much trouble. Want to do it again? Absolutely. They triggered an emergency in another section of the station. Not a real emergency, just a false alarm. But it was loud and dramatic. Security systems activated. Automated responses kicked in. Emergency teams rushed to investigate, including 2 of the Quilvan enforcers guarding Daiwan. That left 4 Quilvans, including Krell. Bad odds, but better than 6. Haywan's team moved through the station like ghosts. They used maintenance passages that most people forgot existed. They disabled cameras. They avoided guards. Years of training paid off. They reached the holding area where Daiwan was kept with Hyunmi. Taesung still stood guard outside, weapon drawn. He saw Haywan's team approaching and nodded once. About time, he muttered. Better late than never, Haywan replied. She looked at Krell and the other Quilvans. Last chance. Let them go. Krell's answer was to raise his weapon. The firefight was short but intense. Humans had one advantage. They were willing to take risks that would kill most species. They moved in ways that shouldn't work. They shot from angles that seemed impossible. Ensign Yu Jin, the youngest member of the team, charged directly at a Quilvan twice her size. The move was so unexpected that the Quilvan froze for a second. That second was enough. Yu Jin's weapon fired 3 times, but the Quilvans weren't helpless. They were professional soldiers. Krell fired back, his weapon powerful enough to punch through armor. The blast caught Yu Jin in the shoulder, spinning her around. She fell hard. Taesung saw the shot coming at day 1. Time seemed to slow down. He threw himself forward, putting his body between the child and the plasma blast. The energy burned into his back. He screamed but didn't fall. Get the boy, he shouted to Haywan. Go! Haywan grabbed Daewon while another team member helped Hyunmi. They ran toward the extraction point. Behind them, the firefight continued. At the same time, the Quilvan fleet made its move. They had waited long enough. 800 ships moved forward to attack the human fleet. The battle began. Lieutenant Wonshik was tactical officer aboard the Indomitable. He watched the Quilvan ships approaching in their perfect formation. Admiral, they're coming. Captain Minseok smiled. Good. Execute Plan Chaos. Plan Chaos was simple in concept. Do everything the enemy doesn't expect. Human ships broke formation. They scattered in what looked like panic. Quilvan commanders thought the humans were running. They were wrong. Each human ship had its own orders, different from every other ship. Some went high. Some went low. Some went sideways. There was no pattern to predict because there was no single plan. 473 captains all doing their own thing. The Quilvan telepathic coordination couldn't handle it. They kept trying to predict human movements, but predictions require patterns. Humans weren't following patterns. A human destroyer flew upside down and fired at a Quilvan cruiser's unshielded underside. The shot shouldn't have worked. The angle was wrong. The timing was off. But the human pilot, a woman named Sora, had trained in atmospheric fighters before coming to space. She was used to flying in ways that made no sense. The Quilven cruiser took heavy damage. Another human ship, a small frigate, deliberately flew into an asteroid field. The Quilven ships chasing it tried to follow. But humans were used to flying in dangerous places. Earth's asteroid belt had been training ground for human pilots for decades. The Quilvens crashed into rocks they didn't see coming. The battle turned into chaos. Exactly what Sung-Ho wanted. Humans don't fight with honor, a Quilven commander reported to his leader. They fight like animals. They use tricks. Then counter their tricks, the leader ordered. We can't. They don't have a strategy. They're just improvising everything. Every ship is doing something different. Back on the station, Haewon's team reached the shuttle with Daewon and Hyunmi. But Yujin was badly wounded. Taesung could barely walk, his back burned and bleeding. Leave me, Taesung said. Get the boy to safety. Not happening, Haewon said. She grabbed Taesung and half-carried him to the shuttle. Krell appeared behind them. His armor was damaged, but he was still dangerous. He raised his weapon for one final shot. Jiwoo stepped into his path. She didn't have a weapon anymore, but she had something else. A medical injector. She jammed it into Krell's neck. The sedative inside would knock out a human in seconds. A Quilven took longer, but it still worked. Krell staggered and fell. Nobody touches my people, Jiwoo said. The shuttle launched. It flew through the battle, dodging weapons fire from both sides. Human ships moved to protect it, forming a shield around the small vessel. Daewon looked out the window. He saw the battle. He saw ships fighting. He saw humans risking everything. Why? He asked his mother. Why are they all fighting for me? Hyunmi hugged him. Because you're one of us, and we protect our own. Elder Velquan, the senior Quilven leader, watched the battle from his flagship. He was old and had seen many wars. He understood something his younger commanders didn't. The Quilvens were losing. Not because they were weaker, not because their ships were worse, but because humans fought differently. They fought with a desperation and creativity that couldn't be predicted, and they were winning. Velquan opened a direct communication channel to Admiral Sung-Ho. Enough, he said simply. We yield. The battle stopped. Both fleets held their fire. Return our wounded, Sung-Ho said. Apologize to the child's mother. Acknowledge that you were wrong. Then we can discuss peace. Velquan looked at the tactical displays. At the ships his empire had lost. At the economic damage spreading across the galaxy. At the unified front of humanity. We underestimated you, he said quietly. We saw traitors and thought you were soft. We forgot that every species survives by protecting its young. Yes, Sung-Ho said. You did forget. Don't make that mistake again. The message reached Earth 3 hours after the incident. It arrived at military headquarters first, then spread like wildfire. News networks picked it up. Social media exploded. Within an hour, every human on Earth knew what was happening on Station Meridian. A child was in danger. One of their children, Admiral Sung-Ho, sat in the command center in Geneva. He was an old man now, with gray hair and a face full of scars from the early days of space exploration. He had fought in the first contact wars when humanity first met aggressive aliens. He thought those days were behind him. He was wrong. Show me the live feed, he ordered. The screen lit up. Everyone in the command center could see Station Meridian. They saw Taesung standing with his weapon drawn. They saw the Quilven enforcers surrounding him. They saw Hyunmi holding her son. They saw little Daewon crying. The room went silent. How long has he been standing there? Sung-Ho asked. 14 hours, sir, an officer replied. He hasn't moved. Neither have the Quilvens. It's a complete standoff. And the station commander won't help? No, sir. Coalition law is on the Quilvens' side. Technically, they have the right to punish anyone who offends them. Sung-Ho's hands formed into fists. That's not justice. That's barbarism. Across the city, the Earth Parliament was in emergency session. President Jae-hwan stood before the assembled representatives. Every nation on Earth had sent someone. For once, there were no arguments about borders or resources or politics. They had one focus. We must respond carefully, one representative said. The Quilven Empire is powerful. They have twice our military strength. We cannot win a war against them. Then we don't fight fair, another representative said. We fight smart. Or we negotiate, a third voice added. Offer them compensation, money, technology, whatever they want. Director Bora stood up. She ran Earth's intelligence bureau and knew more secrets than anyone in the room. "I have information you need to hear," she said. Her voice was cold. "This isn't the first time the Quilvins have targeted human children. In the past 5 years, there have been 7 incidents. 7 times human children were punished under Quilvin law. 7 families were told to accept it for the sake of diplomacy." The room erupted in angry shouts. "Why weren't we told?" someone demanded. "Because the previous administration wanted to maintain good relations with the Quilvin Empire," Bora said. "They buried the reports. They paid off the families to stay quiet. They chose politics over our children." President Jae-hwan's face went pale. "Do we have proof?" "Yes, sir. I'm transmitting it to everyone now." The representatives looked at their screens. They saw the reports. They saw the children's names. They saw what had been done to them. Some of the children had recovered. Some hadn't. One child still couldn't speak 3 years later. The Parliament chamber went silent again. But this silence was different. This was the silence before a storm. A young representative named Young-soo stood up. He was new to Parliament, only 30 years old. He came from a small district and nobody paid much attention to him usually. But today he had something to say. "I have a daughter," Young-soo said. His voice shook with emotion. "She's 5 years old. Her name is Ha-yoon. She likes to draw pictures and sing songs and play with her toys. She's innocent. She's precious. She's everything good in this world." He looked around the room. "Every parent here knows what I'm talking about. Every person here was a child once. We all remember being small and scared and needing protection." He took a deep breath. "Daewon could be any of our children. And if we do nothing now, if we let this happen, then we're saying that no human child is safe. We're saying that our children's lives are worth less than diplomatic relations. We're saying that we'll sacrifice the innocent to avoid making waves." Young-soo's voice grew stronger. "I say no. I say we stand up. I say we tell the galaxy that humanity protects its children. All of them. Every single one. And if the coalition can't guarantee their safety, then we'll do it ourselves." The chamber exploded in applause. Representatives jumped to their feet. Some were crying. Some were shouting in agreement. President Jae-hwan called for order. "A motion is on the floor. The Human Protection Decree. Every human everywhere in the galaxy is under Earth's protection. Any threat to any human is a threat to all of us. Do we approve?" The vote happened fast. The results appeared on the big screen. 194 in favor. 0 against. It was unanimous. General Hee-jin activated the military response. She was in charge of strategic operations and had been planning for this moment since the news first broke. "All fleet commanders, this is General Hee-jin. Activate Protocol Omega. I repeat, activate Protocol Omega." Protocol Omega meant one thing: total mobilization. Every military ship in Earth's fleet received the order. Every defense station. Every armed vessel. 473 ships began moving at once. They jumped through hyperspace, all heading toward the same destination. Station Meridian. Captain Min Seok commanded the newest and most powerful ship in the fleet, the EDS Indomitable. He received his orders and smiled grimly. Navigation set course for Station Meridian. Maximum speed. "Sir, the Quilvins have their fleet there too," his second officer said. 800 ships. "We're outnumbered." "I don't care if they have 8,000 ships," Min Seok said. "We're going to get that child." All across Earth, people stopped what they were doing. They watched their screens. They saw the fleet jumping through space. They saw humanity's response. On social media, messages flooded in. Protect our children became the #1 topic in human history. Not one child followed close behind. Messages of support came from every continent, every city, every small town. "Bring Daewon home. Stand strong, Taesung. We're all with you." President Jae-hwan prepared to address the planet. He stood in front of cameras that would broadcast to every human everywhere. He thought carefully about what to say. This moment would define humanity's future. "My fellow humans," he began. "Today we face a choice. Do we accept injustice to maintain peace? Or do we stand for what's right no matter the cost?" He paused. "I believe humanity has already answered that question." The vote in Parliament was unanimous. Our fleet is already moving. Our message is clear. His voice grew stronger. To the Quilvin Empire we say this. You have 6 hours to release Daewon unharmed. You have 6 hours to apologize to his mother. You have 6 hours to acknowledge that you were wrong. If you do not, you will face the consequences. We are not threatening war. We are promising protection. There is a difference. To every human in the galaxy we say this: you are not alone. You are not forgotten. Earth stands with you. Earth will fight for you. Earth will never abandon you. And to little Day One, if you can hear this, we're coming. Hold on just a little longer. Your whole species is coming to bring you home. The broadcast ended. The 6-hour countdown began. On Station Meridian, Tae-sung saw a message on his device. Ji-woo showed it to him. The fleet was coming. All of it. He smiled and kept his weapon pointed at Krell. You hear that? He said. Earth's coming. My people are coming, and they're not happy. The Quilven enforcer said nothing, but his eyes showed something new. Not fear exactly, but maybe respect. Maybe the first hint of doubt. 6 hours until the deadline. 6 hours until everything changed. The Quilven Empire received Earth's message and laughed. On the Quilven throne world, military commanders gathered around their leader. They watched the human fleet approaching Station Meridian. 473 ships looked impressive, but the Quilvens had 800. They were bigger, stronger, better armed. They're bluffing, one commander said. Humans are traitors, not warriors. They wouldn't dare attack us. But Ambassador Velthar, who was still on the station, wasn't so sure. He had felt something in those humans. Something dangerous. His telepathic senses told him these beings were different from other species. Perhaps we should reconsider, he suggested carefully. The child meant no real harm. We could show mercy. Mercy? Krell laughed. Mercy is weakness. We are Quilvan. We have ruled this part of the galaxy for 600 years. We do not bow to anyone, especially not to humans. The 6 hours past Earth's deadline came, and when the Quilvens refused to release Day One, then something happened that shocked the entire galaxy. 473 human ships dropped out of hyperspace around Station Meridian. They appeared in perfect formation, surrounding the station completely. The precision was incredible. Every ship exactly where it needed to be. But that wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part came next. Every human ship powered up its weapons at the same time. Every defense system activated. Every scanner locked onto the Quilven vessels. The coordination was perfect, and then Earth shut everything down, not the weapons. Everything else. Human technicians on Quilven stations logged out and left. Human engineers maintaining Quilven equipment shut down their systems. Human doctors treating Quilven patients transferred them to local care and departed. Human teachers at Quilvan universities ended their classes. Every human trade agreement with the Quilven Empire ended instantly. Every contract was canceled. Every shipment stopped, but it didn't stop there. Earth canceled trade with 31 other species. Every alien race that did significant business with the Quilvens suddenly lost access to human goods. Human food, human technology, human entertainment, human medicine, all gone. The galaxy discovered something terrifying. Humanity had become essential. In 83 years, humans had integrated themselves into everything. They fixed things other species couldn't fix. They grew food other species couldn't grow. They created entertainment other species loved. They did the small jobs that kept everything running, and now they stopped. On the coalition capital world of Axis Tertius, panic spread through the council chambers. Council Prime Thexilon was a being of pure energy, ancient and supposedly wise, but even he hadn't seen this coming. Someone get me Earth's ambassador, he demanded. Ambassador Insu arrived quickly. He was a calm man, usually friendly and diplomatic. But today his face showed no emotion. He stood before the council and waited. Ambassador Insu, Thexilon said, this is madness. Your planet is destroying the galactic economy over one child. No, Insu replied quietly. We're protecting one child. There's a difference. But the economic damage will continue until Day One is released unharmed. Insu's voice was like ice. Earth's position is simple. Return the child. Apologize to his mother. Acknowledge that you were wrong. Then we can discuss resuming normal relations. The Quilven Empire will never back down, another council member said. They'll go to war first, Insu nodded. Then we'll fight. You can't win, Thexulon said. They outnumber you. Their technology is superior. Their telepathic coordination makes them nearly unbeatable in battle. Maybe, Insu said. But consider this. Humanity has been in space for less than a century. In that time, we've become essential to your economy. We've integrated ourselves into your culture. We've made ourselves necessary. And we did all that while you barely noticed. He let that sink in. Now ask yourself, what else have we done that you didn't notice? What other preparations have we made? How much do you really know about human military capability? The council chamber went very quiet. Insu continued. We came to the stars seeking friends. We found trading partners. We learned. We adapted. We made ourselves useful. But we never forgot what we are. And what is that? Thexulan asked. Survivors, Insu said. On Earth, humanity spent thousands of years fighting each other. We know war. We know violence. We know how to do terrible things when we must. We stopped fighting each other and came to the stars hoping we'd never need those skills again. He looked around the chamber. But make no mistake. We remember. And we will do whatever is necessary to protect our children. All of them. Every single one. Ambassador Insu turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, and one more thing. Earth's history books. They're written in blood. Every major human civilization rose and fell through warfare. We had 2 global wars that killed millions. We created weapons that could destroy our entire planet. And we're the ones who survived all of that. The Quilvans think they're warriors because they conquered 200 systems over 600 years. Humans conquered our entire planet in less than 50 centuries. We then decided conquest was wrong and stopped. But we remember how. Return the child, please, before you learn what we're really capable of. He left the chamber. Back on Station Meridian, Tae-sung was still standing. It had been almost 20 hours now. His legs shook with exhaustion. His arms could barely hold his weapon up, but he didn't lower it. Ji-woo stood beside him. Other humans had joined them, forming a human wall around Daewon and Hyunmi. They spelled each other, taking turns so some could rest while others stood guard. A small alien child walked up to the standoff. Her species was called the Ventari, small furry beings known for their curiosity. She looked at Daewon, who was sleeping in his mother's arms. Why do they protect him? The child asked her parent. The Ventari parent watched the humans. Because that's what humans do, she said softly. They protect their young. All of them. Even when it's dangerous. Especially when it's dangerous. The child thought about that. I wish my species was like that. The parent didn't answer, but she thought the same thing. Across the galaxy, other species were thinking the same thoughts. They watched the news. They saw the human fleet. They heard Earth's demands. They saw the economic chaos spreading. Some species started pressuring the Quilvans to back down. Trade ministers calculated losses. Business leaders panicked. Within hours, 30 different alien governments sent messages to the Quilvan Empire. Release the child. This isn't worth a war. We cannot afford to lose human trade. But the Quilvan Empire refused. Their pride wouldn't allow it. They had never backed down before. They wouldn't start now. The Quilvan fleet moved into position. 800 ships against humanity's 473. On paper, the Quilvans should win easily. Admiral Sung-ho sat in his command chair aboard the flagship. He looked at the tactical display. He saw the Quilvan ships. He saw the numbers. He smiled. All ships, he said calmly, prepare for combat operations. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. That little boy down there is counting on us, he paused. Make Earth proud. Across the human fleet, crews prepared for battle. Weapons charged. Shields powered up. Pilots climbed into their fighters. On Station Meridian, Daewon woke up. He looked around at all the humans standing guard. He didn't fully understand what was happening, but he felt safe. All these people were protecting him. Mommy, he whispered. Why are they all here? Hyunmi hugged him tight. Tears ran down her face. Because you're one of us, she said. And we never leave our own behind. Above the station, the two fleets faced each other. Hundreds of ships. Thousands of weapons. Millions of lives at stake, all for one small boy. The boy laughed as his toy flew through the air. Daewon was only 6 years old, and everything in the station amazed him. The floating lights, the strange aliens walking past, the way his toy could hover without any strings. His mother told him to stay close, but the toy moved so fast. Station Meridian was huge. It floated in space near a beautiful green planet. Thousands of beings lived here from dozens of different worlds. Humans were still new to this place. They had only joined the big galactic family 83 years ago. That seemed like a long time to Daewon. but his mother said it was nothing compared to other species. Hyunmi worked here as a trade ambassador. She helped Earth sell food to other planets. It was important work, but sometimes boring for a little boy. Today, she let Daewon play in the common area while she met with other ambassadors. She could see him from where she sat, or so she thought. The toy zipped around a corner. Daewon ran after it, giggling. He didn't see the tall alien standing there. The toy hit something invisible around the alien's head. It made a buzzing sound and fell to the floor. Daewon bumped right into the alien's leg. "Sorry," Daewon said, looking up. The alien was very tall, with gray skin and large black eyes. Its head seemed too big for its body. The alien stared down at him. Its face didn't move, but Daewon felt something cold in his mind. It made him scared. "You have disrupted my thoughts," the alien said. Its voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "I am Ambassador Velthar of the Quilvan Empire. Your device interfered with my telepathic field." Daewon didn't understand most of those words. "I'm sorry," he said again. "My toy broke. I didn't mean to." Other aliens stopped to watch. Daewon wanted his mother. Where was she? A bigger alien appeared behind Velthar. This one wore armor and carried weapons. Its muscles were huge, and its eyes glowed red. "This human child has committed an offense," the big alien said. "I am Enforcer Krell. The child must face Quilvan justice." "He's just a boy," someone said. A human security officer rushed over. His name was Tae-sung, and he wore the uniform of station security. "The child didn't mean any harm. It was an accident." "Intention does not matter," Krell said. "The law is clear. He disrupted a Quilvan ambassador. He must receive corrective punishment." Tae-sung stepped between Krell and Daewon. "What kind of punishment?" "A neural adjustment," Velthar said. "It will teach him proper respect. The procedure causes no permanent physical damage." But Tae-sung knew what that meant. He had studied alien cultures when he joined the Defense Force. A Quilvan neural adjustment would burn through a human child's developing brain. It wouldn't kill him, but Daewon would never be the same. He might lose his memories, his personality, everything that made him who he was. "No," Tae-sung said simply. Krell moved forward. "You cannot interfere with coalition justice. Our laws grant us the right to punish those who offend us." By now, Hyunmi had seen what was happening. She ran across the common area, pushing through the crowd. "Daewon," she cried. She grabbed her son and pulled him behind her. "Please, he's just a child. He didn't know. I'll apologize for him. I'll pay any fine. Please." "The law does not care about age," Velthar said. "Bring the child." 3 more Quilvan enforcers appeared. They surrounded the humans. Tae-sung put his hand on his weapon. "I said no." The crowd grew larger. Aliens from many worlds watched. Some recorded everything with their devices. Tae-sung knew this moment would be seen across the galaxy. He didn't care. "Officer, stand down," a voice said over the comm system. It was the station commander. "Coalition law is clear. We cannot interfere with species-specific justice protocols." "Then the law is wrong," Tae-sung said. He drew his weapon and pointed it at Krell. "Not this child. Not any human child. Not while I breathe." Hyunmi held Daewon tight. The boy was crying now, finally understanding that something bad was happening. His mother's hands shook as she pulled out her communication device. She sent an emergency message to Earth. Just 3 words. "They're taking Daewon." Another human appeared. Jiwoo was a medical officer, a woman who had served in the military with Tae-sung years ago. She took one look at the situation and stood beside her old friend. She didn't have a weapon, but she didn't need one. Her presence said enough. "You're making a mistake," Krell said to Tae-sung. "The Quilvan Empire has 800 warships. Earth has less than 500. You cannot win this fight." "Maybe not," Tae-sung said, "but you'll have to go through me to get to him, and I promise you I won't go down easy." The standoff continued. Minutes passed. They felt like hours. Daewon buried his face in his mother's shoulder. Hyunmi whispered to him that everything would be okay, even though she didn't believe it herself. More station security arrived, but they didn't help. They couldn't. The law said the Quilvans had the right to do this. It didn't matter that it was wrong. It didn't matter that it was a child. Rules were rules. But Taesung didn't care about rules anymore. He had sworn an oath when he joined the Defense Force. Protect humanity. All of humanity. Especially the ones who couldn't protect themselves. The station commander spoke again. Officer Taesung, you have 10 seconds to stand down, or you'll be arrested for interfering with coalition law. Taesung didn't move. His weapon stayed pointed at Krell. His finger rested on the trigger. Other humans in the station began to gather. They didn't have weapons, but they stood together. A teacher, a shop owner, a maintenance worker, an engineer. They formed a circle around Hyunmi and Daewon. You'll have to arrest all of us, the teacher said. The Quilvans looked at each other. This wasn't how things usually went. Most species accepted their justice system. Most species understood that the Quilvan Empire was too powerful to challenge. But humans were different. The Quilvans were starting to see that. Somewhere far away on Earth, Hyunmi's message arrived. It reached the Defense Command. It reached the government. It reached the news networks. Within minutes, the whole planet knew. A human child was in danger. One of their own needed help, and Earth began to respond. Back on Station Meridian, Taesung still stood his ground. His arms were getting tired from holding the weapon steady. Sweat ran down his face, but he didn't lower his gun. We can wait, Krell said. You'll get tired eventually, you'll have to sleep, and then we'll take the child. Taesung smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. Then I'll stand here until I die. But before I fall, I'll take some of you with me. Jiwoo put her hand on his shoulder. You won't stand alone, she said quietly. The crowd of humans behind them agreed. They wouldn't leave. They wouldn't abandon this child. Ambassador Velthar felt something strange. His telepathic senses picked up emotions from the humans. Fear, yes, but also something else. Something stronger than fear, determination, unity, love. It confused him. Why would these humans risk everything for one child who wasn't even related to them? He didn't understand. But soon, he would learn. The whole galaxy would learn what it meant to threaten a human child.